Hey YouTube. Okay, so today's live stream is going to be the Shadow Work Journal. This is our little book club that we started. Predominantly, I mostly go live on TikTok, and we've been going live on YouTube. Earlier today, I did a nice little hike, and this is our book club live stream. So if you guys are new here, my name is Steph. This is my dog Clover. Clover says hi. And I just travel across the country. Mostly I'm camping across the country, but we do other ways too. So right now I'm in my tent. This is my little tent that I go camping in, and I travel in my Jeep, and we're camping out on some BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. This is just land that you can come camp on for free for up to 2 weeks. So earlier this morning we went for a nice sunrise hike out there. There is a little bike path. We have been having bikers go past here and there, so you might occasionally see a person riding their bike in the background. It's just other travelers. Oh, it's just other travelers going down this really cool bike path. It's just a really cool path. So anyways, you'll see quite a few people probably here and there. Hi, you guys. Heck yeah. Nature Freedom. It's Vanessa. Hello, Vanessa. Hi, New Leaf. Piper. Are you getting your tattoo yet? I bet you it's getting close to time, huh? Happy birthday, New Leaf. I'm currently crying because my auntie and my cousin and my grandma just left. Piper, I'm so sorry to hear that, but hey, I'm glad you're here hanging out. We're going to do a shadow work journal today. Thanks, Melinda. Hi, I'm starting my driving shift listening on the road. Lindsay. Heck yeah. You're so nervous. Don't be nervous. It's my first book club live with you. Excited for this book. Heck yeah, Nisi. Hi, Stephanie. It will be okay, New Leaf, says Piper. That's right. Yay, we're over here. Yes, we are over here. This is my YouTube channel. Thanks for coming in and saying hi, you guys. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Sandy. You're headed there now. Okay, New Leaf's going to be getting a tattoo while we're doing this. That's so exciting. Good luck for the tattoo. Whoa, Campfires just gifted a membership. Autumn Clark got it. Heck yeah. W's in the chat for Campfires. Thank you for the gifted membership. Let's go. Yeah. It's always hard to say goodbye, Piper, but yeah, heck yeah. I hope you're having a good Saturday anyways, even though it's kind of tricky. At least you got to spend some time with them. What kind of bicycle was that? I know. Yeah, that was somebody in a rig. I think I saw they had bicycles on the back though, didn't they? It makes me want to get a bicycle, especially the way Clover reacted. Earlier, she reacted to a bicycle in such a positive way. She got so excited. I think Clover would love being on a backpack with me while we were riding a bicycle. So that could be in the future, maybe. Maybe one day we'll do that. Oh, by the way, Clover says hi. By the way, Clover says hi. Hi, Clover. Such a beautiful day out. I think it's in the 50s, roughly. Nice little breeze. Hopefully it's not too windy on the microphone. Let me know if it is. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cover up the microphone a little bit so that it's not so windy on the microphone. I just use this little bandana sometimes to kind of help. Hi, you guys. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. I can't believe it's Saturday. We're going to do the shadow work journal. Okay, so I actually don't know how this is going to work. Here's what I think. I haven't really looked through it, but the beginning is the shadow work introduction. So the topics are: what is shadow work, why shadow work is important, how it started. Carl Jung, someone said that name in the live stream this morning when we were hiking and I was talking about this book. Yeah, okay, cool. So on the 5th page, we talk about Carl Jung. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. Some kind of philosopher, I'm betting. Understanding, or maybe a psychiatrist. Understanding the psyche, how to do shadow work, the mindset of self-compassion, the importance of grounding, how to spot your shadow self. Here are the 3 signs that it takes time to work with a professional. Oh, sorry. Here are the 3 signs that it's time to work with a professional. Interested in doing shadow work with a therapist, ? Integrating your shadow self, understanding emotional triggers, decompressing after shadow work, and then cherishing your journey. So that's the first part. That's about 23 pages. And then the second part is going to be the shadow work exercises. So after about page 30, wound mapping, filling in the blank, releasing stagnant energy, inner child affirmations, trust, guilt, neglect, abandonment wounds, affirmations for your nervous system, a letter to your past self, mirror gazing, fill in the box, and then visual meditation and breath work. Okay, so here's a disclaimer. I'm not super into like meditating and stuff, so I'm not always probably going to be the best person for this kind of thing, but I'm interested. We're going to try to see if we can get through this. And if you're not super into a certain part, don't worry, you don't have to participate in all of it. If you don't like breath work, for example, or if you don't want to write a letter to your past self or something, you don't got to do any of that. You can always fast forward, rewind, go out, come back in, that kind of thing. So the beginning, it looks like I'm probably just going to be reading this, and then we'll do some exercises towards the end. I'm guessing probably in about an hour we'll be doing exercises. Hi everyone. Hi guys. Your dog would ride in a basket. So fun. Yeah. Show us around. I already did that this morning. If you guys missed that, there is a hiking live stream from earlier this morning. This is our book club live stream, so we're actually just going to be doing the book on this live stream. But this morning we did a really nice 45-minute sunrise hike, so you guys can see that on my YouTube if you go into the live stream section. Hi you guys. Hi everybody. Can you do battles on YouTube? Nope. Or I mean, I'm not aware. Let's see. Looking forward to this book. We'll be getting into some deep psychology. That's cool. Okay. So we're going to get started. Once again, this is book club live stream. If there are trolls in here, just a reminder, you guys, you are able to block people and you won't see them. You're able to block people in the chat if they're bothering you, and you won't see them anymore in the chat. So if I'm reading and I don't see a troll and I don't get to block them right away, don't worry about it. Don't interact with them. Just block them. Thanks, nature. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we're in the desert. We're in Utah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, and don't worry about being super interactive. You can just read and you can just listen. Not a big fan of self-help, but you're going to try this. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really am into psychology, but journaling and fluffy stuff I'm not super big in, so. What are you reading? Okay, so this is the Shadow Work Journal. It's actually more of a workbook. So the first 30 pages, I just kind of went through. You can always rewind the live stream. I just kind of went through all of the different pieces. Today we're going to try to get through the introduction, which is about 30. It's about 30 pages for the introduction. It's a little windy. Hopefully it won't be too bad. So we're going to kind of set the scene for this, and then there's some exercises, so maybe we could try to do some exercises at the end. I'm guessing in about an hour or so we'll get through this and do some exercises. So I'm just going to read it out loud. So if you have a copy of this, great, you can follow along. If not, maybe just like a notepad or something if you want to. And it's always super awkward when you're reading out loud. So don't judge me too harshly. The book is too new age for you, but you love stuff, so you'll listen. Yeah, and don't feel obligated to watch this, you guys, if it's too feelsy, goodsy, new age stuff. Yeah, okay, all right. So I don't know who this Carl Jung is. Should we look up Carl Jung before we read about him? Because it starts off with a quote. Unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Oh, that's interesting. I do like that. Okay, here, hold on. I'll show you this. Unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Hi, Steph. Hi, guys. We're getting started with this book. Let's take a look at who Carl Jung even is. What is this Kool-Aid we're about to drink? Who is Carl Jung? A Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist. That's what he looks like. All right, so this guy, born in 1875 in Switzerland, passed away in 1961. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology. He was a pioneer in the field, developing a unique approach to understanding the human psyche. Jung is known for his theories on the collective unconscious, archetypes, and personality types. He was the first to identify introversion and extroversion as distinct personality types. Oh, I like them already. I consider myself an introvert. Do you guys consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert? I'm definitely more of an introvert. Even though I do this stuff online, I'm very quiet in person. Oh, okay. And then his theories on personality types also influenced Myers-Briggs, if you guys know that, if you're into psychology. Analytical psychology, the relationship between the individual's unconscious mind, collective unconscious, hero, shadow, thinking, feeling, sensing, intuiting, individualization, dream analysis. Jung emphasized the importance of dream analysis in understanding the unconscious mind and personal growth. Emphasis on spirituality. Jung recognized the psychological value of spiritual experiences and the importance of connecting with a sense of meaning and purpose. You can talk to anyone. You're a little bit of both. Clover's getting restless. We should have taken her out before we started book club. I'm sorry, Clover. We love you. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so this is our book. And it's based on Carl Jung stuff. So, what is shadow work? Shadow work is about revealing the unknown. The shadow is an unconscious aspect of your personality that the ego does not identify with. You might experience your shadow when it's triggered in social interactions, relationships, and in episodes of anxiety or sadness. So that's that dark piece of you. And put the bandana back up on you. Hopefully that will help block the wind. Clover is adorable. The unconscious mind contains repressed emotions from painful events, causing impulsive behaviors and unwanted patterns that form your dark side. In short, the shadow is composed of the parts of yourself that you have forgotten, abandoned, or repressed in order to grow and fit in with the constructs of society. Think back to your childhood and recall the ways in which you would express yourself only to be rejected. You might have been crying and told to stop. You might have been laughing uncontrollably in a classroom and then given a dirty glance from your teacher or peers. That definitely hits home, and then you don't do it again, right? There are countless ways in which you might have been reprimanded for what was deemed bad and praised for what was good. Learning to adjust your behavior accordingly. These repressed parts of yourself don't go away forever. They are stored and locked inside of your unconscious mind. Shadow work is the process of revealing, accepting, and integrating these parts of yourself that have been repressed and rejected. The techniques in the shadow work journal will allow us to dive into unconscious pockets of repressed emotions and transcend the negative effects they currently have on your well-being. So the goal is to make the unconscious conscious so that you can work on these emotions in self-reflection and acceptance. While anyone can do shadow work, a licensed mental health expert is a good option, especially for individuals who have experienced severe trauma and abuse. So heads up, we're just doing a book club. We're just reading a book. We're going through this as an adventure together. We're going to maybe do some exercises and stuff. It doesn't have to be that deep. We don't have to get that deep into things. If it's triggering for you, if it's difficult, just go out. You know, this isn't always the best live stream maybe for everybody. Hi, you guys. Clover says hi. All right. What do you want, Clover? Gosh, Clover wants to go for a walk. I wonder if I could walk and read the book. No? All right. She can go after where she's fine. What the F is the creature behind you? Samuel, don't you know? That's a Clover bear. That's a dog. That's a dog behind me. All right. Before beginning shadow work, it's important to set an intention to openly notice and question your own reactions. The shadow is apparent in strong emotions and dissatisfaction. Be sure to keep a mental log of these sensations to truly understand which patterns occur and use this journal as a tool to identify what's causing them. The Getting to the Root of Your Shadow pages are an excellent resource to track your shadows and their origins. All right, so that was page 3. Page 4, why is shadow work important? There are many benefits to shadow work. Your pains and triggers can be guides to help you understand what you deeply care about, bringing you closer to life's purpose. Conversely, you will come to identify toxic patterns in your life and change them completely. Another benefit of shadow work is that you will develop more courage and confidence to face the unknown and embody your whole self. You will develop deeper love, acceptance, okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I have trouble with some of this sometimes. Failure to face and deal can be, okay. All right, so we understand, right? All right. The father of shadow work, Carl Jung, page 5. I can't do with all that floofy stuff because it's like I don't even feel like I'm reading anything after a while with all of that because it's like, okay, you could have said all this in one sentence, my guy. Okay. You've been through entirely too much to enjoy this. I get it, Mary. I get it. Don't worry. All right, the father of shadow work, Carl Jung. The concept of shadow was first developed by Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung. He believed that exploring the shadow was essential for personal growth and individualization and the process of becoming one's authentic self. The shadow refers to the unconscious part of your psyche. Okay, we get it. All right, page 6, understanding the psyche. The psyche is the term used to describe the inner world of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It is the source of our experiences, motivations, and behaviors. All right, I'm going to show you guys this little chart that they have. Clover. 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 She's so funny. All right, so you have in the center is yourself, personal, unconscious, shadow, collective, consciousness, unconsciousness, your persona, inner world. So this was Jung's model of the psyche. Jung believed that exploring the psyche was essential for personal growth. He believed in all of the things on this page. I kind of want to just skip to the exercises. Where are you at in the desert, Aladdin? Hanging out? Yep, that's what we're doing. It's starting to warm up. I might have to change into a tank top soon. Oh, this is what I wanted. Mind traps. Okay, this is probably where we're going to start getting into the good stuff. This is page 8. All right, anchoring. The first thing you judge influences your... I better show you. Okay, so this is... Why isn't it going? Oh, there we go. Anchoring. The first thing you judge influences your judgment of all that follows. Confirmation bias. You favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. Reactance. You'd rather do the opposite of what someone is trying to make you do. Okay, I am super bad at this one. Sunk cost fallacy. You irrationally cling to things that that have already cost you something. Oh, like you invested a little bit into something, so you're going to see it through. Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you know, the less confident you are likely to be. Backfire effect. When your core beliefs are challenged, it can cause you to believe in them more strongly. Declinism. You remember the past better than it was and expect the future to be worse than it likely will be. Framing effect. You allow yourself to be influenced by context and delivery. Negativity bias. You allow negative things to disproportionately influence your thinking. I do run into this one a lot. So how to do shadow work. Shadow work involves exploring the unconscious aspects of ourselves. All right. I'm good with that. I wish I would have washed my nails beforehand. Sorry, you guys. These are what we call camping hands. All right, in order to flush out your shadow self, you must be willing to catch yourself in moments of negativity. Using this journal, getting to the root of your shadow pages, you will notice yourself becoming irritated, anxious, angry, or sad. When you face your shadow, it is important to take small positive actions that improve your physical and mental well-being. Drink more water than you think you need, dress up more, shower, cleanse your face, eat something light and healthy, do breathing exercises, or listen to music you enjoy. Know that the discomfort will pass and you will feel like yourself again. That's actually really good. That's really good advice. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. The shadow carries all the things we do not want to know about ourselves. All right. One of the things that I really struggle with books like this is it's like selling us in the beginning. Like, I understand you got to like route out why everything's important and define it, but it's like there's so many pages going through it that's tricky for me to not lose interest. The mindset, self-compassion. One of the key aspects of shadow work is self-compassion. Oh my gosh, we talk about this a lot. When you begin to explore the shadow, it can be challenging to face the parts of yourself that you reject or hide. It is important to approach shadow work with a non-judgmental attitude and to treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would offer a friend. By doing this, you can create a safe and supportive environment for exploration and growth. Self-compassion involves recognizing and accepting our own limitations, failures, and experiences of suffering rather than harsh self-criticism and judgment. Yeah, you got to have the mindset. Hello, you guys. All right, this is page 12. Our culture often emphasizes perfectionism and individual achievement, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-criticism when we fall short. I've heard about this with other countries. So some countries are really more of a group dynamic or a family dynamic with our achievements. And in America, we're very individualized. We're all going for the American dream on an individual level. We want our freedom, our independence, and we don't often feel like we can ask other people for help, and that's kind of the culture that we have developed over here. What's my favorite book? I don't know. I don't know if I have one. If you guys have a favorite book, feel free to put it in the chat. Maybe at some point we will read it. Clover. Sorry, we got people coming by. Jordan Peterson. I'm not a fan of Jordan Peterson. I am not a fan of that guy at all, but also I'm not religious, so that might be why I don't like some of his beliefs. I really struggle with Jordan Peterson, although he is very polished. He's a great speaker. He has some really awesome quotes and good psychology. I'm just not a fan of his. All right. Ooh, the importance of grounding. Okay. Also page 12. Another important aspect is grounding. Grounding is a technique that helps us to anchor in the present moment, connect with our bodies, and to find stability and balance in a chaotic world. I think I'm always doing this. Do you guys ground a lot? I think I'm always grounding unintentionally. I'm not big on the spiritualistic side, and people tend to talk about grounding almost like a spiritual thing, but I'm always sitting on the ground, touching the ground, trying to like center myself and regain my composure, my thoughts, and my calm. Clover, you're tangled. Come on over here. There you go. Come on, babies. Clan of the Cave Bear. I haven't heard of that one. The Age of Reason. All right. It is important to ground yourself before and after using the shadow work journal. Okay. Here are a few ways to ground yourself. Simple recognition. Recognize common humanity. Remember that everyone experiences setbacks, failures, and moments of suffering. You are not alone, and your experiences are a normal part of the human experience. Self-care. Engage in activities that will bring you joy, relaxation, and a sense of well-being. This can include things like exercise, hobbies, spending time with loved ones, and getting enough sleep. Affirmations. Using positive affirmations can help to reduce stress and increase feelings of well-being. Sensory stimulation. Engaging our senses through activities such as walking in nature, we do that, smelling essential oils, eating a nourishing meal. Apples are pretty nourishing, and that can help bring us to the present moment. Taking slow, deep breaths can help to calm the mind and reduce stress. Cute dog, thank you. All right, how to spot your shadow self. Spotting your shadow self often begins with noticing your triggers, recognizing patterns in your behavior and life experiences, and understanding your projections. I really need to do this. So sometimes I get triggered by things. This is good. I want to face my triggers. Deep breath. Okay, so noticing your triggers. Triggers produce emotional responses that are often intense and seemingly disproportionate to the situation at hand. Is anybody guilty of that? They are indicators that a part of you, often a shadow aspect, feel threatened or hurt. When you're triggered, it can feel like you're reacting automatically without a conscious choice. These triggers are valuable clues pointing toward your underlying unresolved issues or shadows. To spot your triggers, take a step back and objectively look at the situation that caused you to react intensely. Is there a common theme or factor? It could be a word, an action, a type of person, or even a place that repeatedly causes an emotional upheaval in you. This book hits. Hi. The book basically criticizes religion in general. Oh, the book Age of Reason by Thomas Paine. I'm not big on, I've done that. When I was younger, when I was in my teens and my 20s, I read some books on religion. There were some really good ones that I really like. The Skeptic's Bible is a really great one if you want to read the Bible and kind of compare side by side with things. And there's some really good books out there, but I have lost interest in that in about the last 10 plus years. I really am not into being critical of other people's beliefs. There's people I'm aware of them, like Jordan Peterson, for example. He seems like a great guy. I just don't have an interest in it. It's just not my vibe. You know what I mean? I think everybody should be able to have their beliefs and their religions and their upbringings and how they want to raise their kids and how they want to look at the world. I just don't have it's not for me. So I don't want to read, books like that. What kind of book is this? This is a shadow work journal. So this is the shadow work journal. So the next one is understanding projections. Projections are aspects of ourselves that we unconsciously place on others. These can be qualities that we both admire and detest. When we have strong emotional reaction to someone else's behaviors or qualities, it often signifies a disowned part of ourselves, a shadow aspect. I really get this a lot with the trolls. So when people come into my live stream and they're saying things, most of the time it's stuff that they themselves have shortcomings in. It's really not that deep. If they're upset because you're making an income a certain way, if they're upset because of how you laugh or how your voice sounds or what you're eating or how you look, most of the time it's just a them problem, not a you problem. They're projecting. To understand your projections, consider the characteristics in others that you find extremely irritating or conversely overly admire. Whoa, that's deep. Then ask yourself if these traits could be parts of yourself that you've disowned or idealized. That hits me. So, are there things in others that you severely dislike? Somebody chewing with their mouth open, for example. Somebody burping. Are there things that you really super dislike? And is that something in yourself that you've struggled with? I actually didn't really think about that. All right, and then the next one is pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are a rich source of symbolism, an unconscious vault to try and recall and record your dreams upon waking. Analyze your symbols, emotions, themes in your dreams. They can provide valuable insight. And then the last one is explore childhood and past experiences. Reflect on your childhood, family dynamics, and significant life events. Identify any unresolved issues, traumas, or unmet needs that might have contributed to the development of your shadows. Exploring these experiences with compassion and curiosity can lead to a profound healing and integration. All right, and then there's another page when it's time to work with a professional. Overwhelming emotions, recurring dreams, social withdrawal. These are things that I'm not going to read through, but that's probably good to note. And then if you're interested in doing shadow work with a therapist, there's some green flags and working with different therapists. So there's some really good bullet points here that I'm not going to read out loud. Page 18, integrating your shadow self. Emotional freedom technique, EFT. EFT is tapping into a powerful therapeutic tool that combines elements of cognitive therapy and acupressure. Okay, well, I'm not really interested in any of that. It can be a valuable method. Okay, cool. Understanding emotional triggers. Oh, okay, this is what I'm actually interested in. Shame, guilt, anger, sadness. Shame is an intense emotion that arises when you believe there is something fundamentally wrong with who you are. Does anybody have a lot of shame? I have so much shame. It is a deeply painful and isolating experience that can stem from feeling unworthy, inadequate, or humiliated. Shame can manifest as a heavy burden that weighs us down, making us feel small and undeserving of love and acceptance. It often arises from societal expectations, past traumas, or internalized beliefs. Overcoming shame requires compassion, self-acceptance, and a recognition of our inherent worthiness as human beings. Snooty people trigger you? Me too. Shadow work is finding the trigger, recognizing the emotions, and doing deep AF and yeah. You have no shame, Melinda. That's good. Okay, and then guilt. That arises when we believe we have done something wrong or violated our own moral code. It's a form of self-condemnation and blame mixed with a sense of regret. Guilt can be a constructive emotion because it reveals our values and helps us learn from mistakes. It signals a need for accountability and encourages us to make amends or change our behavior. When left unchecked, guilt can transform into an overwhelming burden, leading to excessive self-criticism and preventing personal growth. That's interesting. You know, I don't really like dive in deep to those kinds of feelings, but it's very interesting that like if you start to feel guilt, maybe you should lean into that and understand why you're feeling the guilt and address it so that it's not inside of you anymore. That's really deep. And then anger. I don't really let myself feel anger too much. Anger is a powerful and complex emotion that is spurred in response to perceived threats, injustice, or frustration. It can range from mild to intense and can manifest as a physical or emotional response. Anger is a natural and valid emotion that reveals a need for change or boundaries. Uncontrolled or excessive anger can lead to destructive behavior and harm to oneself or others. Yeah. So sadness is a deep and poignant emotion that arises in response to loss, disappointment, or unfulfilled desire. Okay. And then embarrassment, jealousy, regret, and fear. I'm not going to read through all of those, but they're very, yes. All right. And then another Carl Jung quote. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The privilege of having a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Oh, yeah, I like that one too, because like over time, you eventually get to become who you are. When you first start out, I don't think you really are. You don't have anything to compare things to. You haven't had experiences. It's over time that you develop. You have a rocky past due to BPD. You love, yeah. You're a crier. Humiliation makes you extremely angry. Yeah. decompressing after shadow work. Embrace gentle movement, honor your unique needs, find solace in creativity, cherishing your journey. As you tread this transformative path, remember that the act of decompressing is as significant as the journey itself. Got it. All right. Unless we do conscious work on it, the shadow is almost always projected. That is, it is neatly laid on someone or something else, so we do not have to take responsibility for it. Robert A. Johnson, author of Owning Your Own Shadow. All right, so then we've got this page. I'm going to show you it. It's unconscious versus conscious. I actually like this page. It looks good. Unconscious, habits and patterns, emotions, projection, control of bodily functions, belief, desires, blaming, denying, lying, attachment to things, thoughts, and feelings. Conscious, logic, filter, analysis, movement, decision making, short-term memory, willpower, and critical thinking. Interesting. Whoops. Okay, so my stuff does get dirty because this is the ground and the dirt. Ooh, we're going into our shadow work exercises. Inner child affirmations, breath work, visualization meditations, wound mapping, mirror gazing, fill in the blank, and letter to your past self. The process of training your mind to recognize your shadows can take time and effort. To help with this, it is recommended to set aside 5 to 10 minutes each week to engage in shadow work activity. This will give you the opportunity to intentionally reflect on your relationships, reactions, and inner thoughts. Okay. Wound mapping. Okay, here's the exercise. To identify your inner child's wounds, examine the attributes listed on the following page. The 4 main types of inner child wounds are trust, guilt, neglect, and abandonment. It is possible that one or more of these may resonate with you personally. Why? Being hurt or traumatized, particularly during childhood, can be deeply painful. This exercise aims to help you identify emotional wounds from childhood that may still impact you today. Okay. Trust. The trust wound, guilt, neglect, and abandonment. Here's the whole page. Trust wound is afraid to be hurt, doesn't trust themselves, finds ways not to trust people, feels insecure and needs lots of external validation, doesn't feel safe, normally attracts to people who doesn't make them feel safe. Guilt, feels sorry or bad, doesn't like to ask for things. Uses guilt to manipulate, is afraid to set boundaries, normally attracts people who make them feel guilty. Neglect, struggles to let go, has low self-worth, gets angry, struggles to say no, represses emotions, fears being vulnerable, normally attracts people who doesn't appreciate them or make them feel seen. Ouch. Abandonment, feels left out, fears being left, hates being alone, codependent, threatens to leave, normally attracts emotionally unavailable people. Whoa, okay. That's deep. Fill in the blank, the exercise. Fill in the blank. Read through the paragraph and fill in the blanks without hesitation. If you can't come up with a word, try looking at your surroundings, find an object, and think of word associations for that object. Then come back to the paragraph and try again. This series of fill-in-the-blank shadow work exercises is a powerful practice that allows you to delve into your unconscious mind. All right, we're going to do fill-in-the-blank exercises now. All right, so if you guys want to do this with me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn away from the camera. You can take a screenshot or I'll just read them out loud. But here's the page. I always feel like I'm the blank one. Blank is how I manage to escape. Blank brings me peace. I am so tired of blank and blank, but excited about blank and blank. I want to try blank so that I can finally blank. For some reason, I always end up blank. I deserve blank and blank blank. All right, we're going to do this part now. I'm going to write down. I'm going to flip it back to me because it's hard to do that. Maybe I should clean out my nails. if we're gonna be on YouTube and having this recorded. Unconscious bias is a struggle, overcoming stuff you were raised to think. It really is. Yeah. You know, our parents make us feel guilty. Our parents leave us. Our parents put us in dangerous and, you know, situations that just like we don't choose. We don't have a lot of autonomy when we're young. We don't get to pick out how we're raised or who we're around or what we're doing with our time or personalities. You know, it's just, we're so limited as children, and it's such a powerful moment in time for us as we're developing ideas, and so it's tricky. I feel really blessed that I was lucky enough to grow up in a relatively normal household. I think, you know, my dad was an alcoholic, and there, you know, there's just different things, but it wasn't like some people. All right, so we're gonna do these exercises. Just kind of cleaning out my nails a little bit. They're still kind of bad. I really need to scrub them. We're out camping, so what are you gonna do? But it's not as bad as it was. All right, where's my pen? Let me see if I can find my pen. Okay, here we go. All right, fill in the blank. I always feel like I'm the blank one. I don't know what they're looking for here. I always feel like I'm the blank one. I don't know what I'm supposed to write. Girl, your nails are fine. I always feel like I'm the blank one. This is gonna be hard. I don't like the blank exercises already. Maybe I skipped that one. Blank is how I manage to escape. Daydream. I tend to go off into my own universe. Daydreaming is how I manage to escape. Daydreaming. Reading. Media, like movies, you know, media, like consuming. I don't mean like news media, but I mean like, you know, social media. I have escapist tendencies, video games, like anything external. Write the first thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to write. I always feel like I'm the blank one. I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're looking for. You are always the caring one. I don't feel like that. I feel like everybody cares, even though they maybe don't. What do you guys feel? What are you? Are you always the caring one? Are you always, what are you? You are always the blank one. Last one. You are always the one in the way. I always feel like I'm in the way of everybody else. Like I always feel like I should get out of the way for everybody else. So I don't know the get out of the way one. The only one. Ooh, Carolyn, you feel like you're the only one. Introverted one, the odd one. Walk through and reflect, self-reflect after the club. You always say introvert. Yeah, but I don't look at that as like a negative thing. I don't look at that as introvert is just a personality type. Like I just, when I get pressure to do meetups and meet strangers on the internet and go into people's campsites and stuff, I'm like just not that personality type. You are the talkative one. You are the annoying one. Nah. The concerned one. Aw. The anxious one. And that's okay. If you feel like you're annoying, if you feel like you're anxious, it's okay. Talkative. Yeah, I feel like I'm always the in the way one. I feel like I'm always the move out of their way one. You're the fix it one. You're trying to fix people. Indecisive one. I used to always so sorry. That's deep. Okay, so what brings you peace? Blank brings me peace. Solitude. Solitude brings me peace. Always has. Solitude. You are the caring, concerned, but distant at the same time because you don't know what to say. You overthink and analyze everything. You can't accept it for what it is. Yeah, keep going on that one. What brings you peace? Yeah, solitude brings me peace. Creating things. Solitude / creating things. Being alone. Disposable. Legendary Lisa. Wine and TikTok brings you peace. God brings you peace. Religion. Yeah. All right. And then I am so tired of blank and blank, but excited about blank and blank. I am so tired of not having enough time. Well, I'm so tired of having low energy levels. I'm so tired of having low energy levels and poor time management. But I'm excited for blank and blank. Time by yourself and walking with your dog. Yes. I am so excited for, I don't know, building my YouTube. Building my social media. And filming more deep content. Producing content with more depth. I like to keep things light and airy, but I do want to start incorporating deeper things sometimes. Oh, that's a good one. Politics and bills. Happy to get by. Yeah, oh, that's good. Tired of dysfunction and chaos. You want to try blank so that you can finally blank. I want to try blank so that I can finally blank. I want to try staying in places longer so that I can finally put out bigger, better content. Is that, it just seems like a deflection or something, that it should be much more deeper than that. I want to stay in places longer so that I can finally, I mean, I hate that word finally. I want to stay in places longer so that I can explore the areas more in depth and do a better job of showcasing them. Explore areas more in depth. That's all I need. We don't have to make it about social media. I want to try staying in places longer so that I can explore areas more in depth. That's the root of it. So tired of being overweight and not looking like myself, but I'm looking forward to continuing my weight loss journey. Oh, Lindsay, 65 pounds, 40 more to go. Congratulations, that's a big one. Are you using Starlink? No, I'm just on my phone. Adventures to relax, yeah. Awesome job. I know some of us are on a big journey. For some reason, I always ended up blank. For some reason, I always ended up leading other people in leadership. For some reason, I've always ended up in leadership reluctantly. I deserve blank and blank. I deserve boundaries. I deserve blank and blank. I deserve boundaries and a good time, darn it. Clover, just relax. Somebody was walking by. A good time, darn it. Okay, here's how mine looked. All right, here's how mine looks. Fill in the blank. I always feel like I'm the move out of their way one. Daydreaming, reading, and media is how I manage to escape. Solitude, creating things brings me peace. I am so tired of having low energy levels and poor time management, but I'm excited about building my social media and producing more content with more depth. I want to try to stay in places longer so that I can finally explore areas more in depth. For some reason, I always end up in leadership. I deserve boundaries and a good time, darn it. Were you guys able to fill in all of the blanks? You deserve to be yourself. That's right. Thank you guys. I appreciate the encouragement so much. I don't hear it often, and I hate fishing for compliments. Yeah, no. Hey, congratulations. Weight loss is hard, and it's such a personal journey, and it's so hard because nobody's going to help you. You know, like you got to do it yourself, and 65 pounds is wild. Hi guys. Are you married? Not today. Hello, you guys. Okay, we're going to move on to the next page, page 35, some more exercises. These are reflection questions. So I'll show you the whole page. Reflection questions. Why am I sometimes seduced into a lack mentality? What self-improvement techniques can I use to replace my negative thoughts with more empowering beliefs about myself or the situation? What kind of thinking do I need to adopt in order to step outside of my limiting beliefs and focus on what excites me? Okay. Not today, says Zoe. You're enjoying this? Oh, good, Newly. Yeah, and if you guys, am I getting married? Not tonight. No, I'm not getting married. Why would you think such a thing? Hello, you guys. Somebody asked if I was married, and I said not today. Also, if you guys are doing these reflections from home, if you are watching in the replay, feel free to put in the chat some of the answers if you want, or what you're getting out of this. If you think it's dumb, you can scroll on. And then if you are doing this live with me, you can put it in the chat, or you can keep it to yourself. You know, you don't, this stuff is very personal, right? So why am I sometimes seduced into a lack mentality? Well, I know that I grew up in a like lower area of town, like like an area of town where people didn't have a lot of money, and it was almost like it was cooler to be poorer. Like people would kind of hate on people for having anything nice. You know, you were stuck up if you had anything nice, that kind of thing. And so that was ingrained into me from a very young age. My parents were like, I'm working hard to put, you know, food on the table. You don't need this, you don't need that. And so the lack mentality, growing up, I was never encouraged to have boundaries, never encouraged to go to college or have a good job. You know, you get married, you have babies, and that was just like the mentality of the place that I grew up. I started smoking when I was 11 years old. I was sneaking out of home. I was drinking from a very, very young age. And so the lack mentality that I get sometimes really probably does stem from growing up in that kind of environment. I don't know. My lips look dry. Thanks. Lindsay struggled to lose 20 pounds, so congrats. Congrats on your weight loss, yeah. I'll give you $25 if you eat the stick from the background. Which one? Which stick? Take responsibility. Thank you, Sandy. I'm very focused and determined. Congrats to you guys who have made accomplishments on that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. So why am I sometimes seduced into a lack mentality? Because growing up, it wasn't good to have excess. It wasn't good to have nice things. Or to accomplish things. Like, who does she think she is type of mentality is what I grew up with. What self-improvement techniques can you use to replace your negative thoughts with more empowering beliefs about yourself or the situation? What kind of self-improvement techniques can you use to replace negative thoughts with more empowering ones? Do you guys got any ideas with that? I think to replace negative thoughts with good ones, I don't know. I think a lot of that's exposure therapy personally. I think a lot of times you have to be put into a situation where your boundaries get crossed, or you're told you don't deserve to have nice things, or you're told you don't deserve to take up space, and you got to decide you are going to take up space, that you are going to have that thing. You know, and you got to just hold that ground. I don't know. For thoughts, internal thoughts, I suppose I could pretend I was talking to my younger self, you know, that 11-year-old, and tell them what they deserve, maybe. Yeah, it's tricky. Walking and solving problems at work being needed. Yeah, did you guys know, I've mentioned this a few times, when you're walking forward, it activates a part of your brain that is responsible for decision making. And so as you walk, you're able to clear your head, and you're activating this part where you're more likely to make positive decisions. And that's why, like, if you are stuck at the grocery store and you're trying to choose between chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream, you're looking at it, and you can't make up your mind, but stand there for 10 minutes trying to choose between these two ice creams, you know, and you're not going to get both. You're just going to get one. Sometimes it can be helpful to leave the ice cream and walk around the store. And when you're walking away from that and you're producing something in your mind as you're walking, you might not even go back and get the ice cream. You know what I mean? You might be walking and you're like, you know, I'm going to get apples instead. And so walking, you know, if you're at work and you're trying to make a decision, just walking down the hallway, walking up and down the hallway, going and walking around the building can make a huge, huge difference. You love my bangs? Thank you. When you drive, you think a lot too. Me too. Driving has always helped clear my head. You walk a labyrinth? Oh, that's neat. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's good. Walking a labyrinth is good. Yeah, I never thought about that. That's interesting. Okay, and then the last question, what kind of thinking do I need to adopt in order to step outside of my limiting beliefs and focus on what excites me? What kind of thinking do I need to have to focus on what excites me? Ooh, well, okay, so I really like the take what you can and leave the rest. I like the focus on the positive stuff and leave the rest behind. It's hard. How can I focus on what excites me? How can you focus on what excites you? Hi, Clover. Hello from France. You did that at farmers markets. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so this is not going to be for everybody, but one of the things I did, I got rid of my apartment, sold everything I owned, and started traveling. That excited me. The big thing that I did was separate myself from the people that I had surrounded myself with who were limiting me. So, I had been around potentially some maybe toxic people, some people that triggered things in myself, made me feel small, made me feel weak, made me feel like I didn't deserve things. And so when you get away from that and you go out into the world, you know, sometimes going no contact, ghosting people, I don't know, for me that made a big difference a few years ago. You're always critical thinking mode, so you need to branch out and take a breather. Yeah. Yeah. I think separating yourself from people who limit you is a big one. And then what kind of thinking do I need to adopt? I think turning around that negative thinking. I don't have a lot of self-negative thinking though. Like I get anxiety and I don't like to be around people, but when I'm in my solitude, I don't really have a lot of time for the, oh, I'm so stupid type mentality. I really don't have that too much these days. You like my dog? Thank you. Clover, come on over here. I might be kind of hard on myself because I didn't do something I wanted. Like maybe I didn't have as good a time management. Maybe I didn't pick the right thing to get or the right video shot or whatever. Didn't post this. But I just feel like that's like normal and you got to work on it over time. How long have you been on the road? Since June of 2022. Can I see your dog? Sure. Clover wants to go for a walk. Maybe we will go on to TikTok and do another walking live stream. We already did one this morning on YouTube. We have been live for an hour. The next one is fill in the blank. So I think we should stop here. I think this is a good one. We've been on this for an hour. I think this is a good stopping point. Tomorrow I'll do another live stream. It'll probably be another hour-long live stream and we'll do some more exercises. I really don't like the fill in the blank exercises. I struggle with that. You have a dog, your dog's name is Molly. I really struggle with these fill in the blank exercises. So I suppose it's a good activity. We can't afford a lot of stinking thinking. I know. Perfect. Interesting book. Thanks. Yeah, this is at Walmart and on Amazon. So this was The Shadow Work Journal, A Guide to Integrate and Transcend Your Shadows by Keela Shaheen. So, all right, I'm going to switch over to TikTok now. I'm going to end this live stream, switch over to TikTok. We're going to go for a walk with Clover. She really wants to go for a walk. If you guys can't tell, Clover really wants to go for a walk. Hi, Clover. Oh, big stretches. She's been so good. We've been live all day on TikTok and YouTube. So we're going to switch it back over to TikTok and we're going to take her for a walk. So I'll see you guys over there in a little bit. Otherwise, this is probably the last live stream of the day on YouTube. So we'll be back, I think, tomorrow on YouTube. So have a great day, YouTube. Switching over to TikTok now. Thanks, guys. Bye.